Stephen A. Smith, I am sure you will find some way to disagree with what I'm about to say about LeBron James. But my 2 cents are, my take is that LeBron James, in his 11th year in this league, is finally feeling threatened by the stunning ascension of another player, by Kevin Durant in his 7th NBA season. And Stephen A. Smith, I will remind you that since Kevin Durant hit bottom in those 2 games, New Year's Eve in Oklahoma City and then on January 2nd in Oklahoma City, he obviously is on one of the most spectacular tears, including last night in Portland that we'll talk about a little later, that this league has ever seen. And that tear included the January 29th game at Miami, in which the Oklahoma City Thunder destroyed the Miami Heat. And in that game, as you well remember, LeBron James did attempt to guard Kevin Durant a few times, especially in the second half, and was made to look silly by a gear of quickness we have yet to have ever seen in Kevin Durant. So I'm thinking that LeBron James has finally gone on the offensive with the media. He is now speaking more boldly and less humbly than we have ever heard from him. Remember the recent game at the Clippers in which LeBron James guarded all 5 positions? Blake Griffin all the way down to Collison and even DeAndre? LeBron said after the game, "That's why I deserve to be Defensive Player of the Year." And I was like, wow, that's a strong statement. True, but a strong statement. Now, to the great Steve Smith, not Stephen A. Smith, so he's a little second rate, but the great Steve Smith of NBA TV, LeBron James is basically saying, you're going to have to make room for me on the NBA's Mount Rushmore. Translation, LeBron is saying, hey, don't you forget about what I have done and what I will do while you're all caught up in what Kevin Durant is doing. That's my armchair psychology, Mr. Smith.
Well, the bottom line is I don't recall you being asked what was your armchair psychology. I recall you being asked about the Mount Rushmore of basketball icons in this game. So, Skip, I'm going to give it back to you. Who is on your Mount Rushmore?
Now, wait a second. We're going to do that in the second topic, right? Isn't this about why LeBron is saying this?
All right. I wanted to make
so
sure because I got lost a little
translate?
bit there. I mean, well, let me say this to you. When I think about what LeBron James is saying, I think about the fact that LeBron James is the greatest player in the world right now. I don't think anybody could question that, even though we all hear Kevin Durant stomping in his direction. I think LeBron James is putting the world on notice and being a bit bold, I might add, by finally sticking out his chest and saying, okay, look at what I've done. For years, I was maligned because I couldn't get over the hump. But now I've been to 3 consecutive NBA finals. I'm a reigning 2-time NBA world champion, not to mention a 4-time league MVP. It's about time y'all recognize what I'm bringing to the table. And that's what this is all about, because what happens is you can bring up Kevin Durant or anybody else that you want to, but it's beautiful that LeBron James picked this time. His timing, as far as I'm concerned, is impeccable because he's saying it while he's a champion. If you spend so much time, Skip Bayless, maligning him, what he hasn't done, what he refused to do, what he hadn't maturated into, well, then why would we sit there and just summarily bypass what he has ultimately achieved and start heaping other expectations on his shoulders? In his own way, as our very own Chris Broussard pointed out on SportsCenter yesterday, LeBron is doing it himself because he's giving you indications as to what you can expect and what he may end up doing. And he's saying that he's just getting started. He's not near finished yet. But at the same time, what he is also recognizing is that the Kevin Durants of the world are coming, and by no means would it be fair, after spending so much time maligning and ridiculing and lamenting what he hasn't done, now that he's done it, Let's not just gloss over that so quickly and be so quick to heap praise and expectations and all of this and all the other laudables on the shoulders of somebody else. Let's take a moment to pause and acknowledge what this man is doing and what he has been doing over the last 2 to 3 years. And I really don't have a problem with that because I think that's in the interest of fairness, which I'm all about.
So you do agree with my premise that Kevin Durant's explosion has prompted LeBron to be a little more outspoken, a little less humble than we have heard in the past?
I wouldn't go that route, Skip. What I'm saying is it's not Kevin Durant's explosion. It's our willingness to talk about Kevin Durant in a fashion rife with laudables at the expense of LeBron. If you're LeBron James and you had to spend a vast majority of your first 9 years taking so much heat for what you didn't do, why should you allow the world to just gloss over your greatness because they're ready to anoint somebody else?